welcome everyone. Joe the Fan here from Just Win Bets, baby. I'm here with my sidekick, of course, Shane O'Mac. Shane O'Mac, how you doing, my friend?
Doing good. How you doing tonight?
Doing great. And I'm honored, very honored to introduce, of course, our special guest here that covers the Big Ten for college football. It is, of course, the wise man. We've been kind of promoting you for quite some time, my friend. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How are you, buddy? Long time no see.
Long time no see. Yes.
Old buddy, old pal.
That's what we do here. Tell us a little bit about yourself there, wise man.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. First off, I want to just thank you guys for the opportunity. Looking forward to chatting with you each week. Big college football fan, big Big Ten guy. Most importantly, I'm a fan of the greatest college football team in the land, your beloved Michigan State Spartans. Big Sparty fan. I'll admit, guys, sometimes when it comes to Sparty, I vote a little bit and bet a little bit more with my heart than my head. That gives you free reign to fade me when I'm betting Sparty at any time during the year. I'm warning you now. Fade me when I'm betting Sparty. But no, love my Sparties, love college football, and really looking forward to being with you guys.
Rumor has it that the wise man also has a Tom Izzo tattoo on his butt cheek.
That is not true. But love me some Tom Izzo, of course.
I'm just messing with you, man. I was just thinking of the Water Boy where he had Roy Orbison tattooed on him, the coach.
There you go. Love me some Water Boy too.
It is, of course, shots fired right off the bat on a Friday night. We are definitely live here in the studio. So here's how we're going to do it, folks. You'll see the ticker right there on the bottom. It shows all of our top 25, of course, the current top 25 that's going on in the AP poll, as well as the games that are the top 25. That's throughout the whole weekend. Fortunately, there were not anything that's going to happen Sunday night and Monday night because, of course, we will be debuting the NFL, not like last week, where we do not even talk about Chano, the North Carolina Tar Heels. So moving forward. So all these Saturday games, of course, you'll see it on the ticker. And, of course, the odds are subject to change. We give you the best number throughout the books, of course, from our friends over at Odds Trader. So you'll see up top we have, of course, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, just to name a few. But we'll go around, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, the wise man is going to be covering the Big Ten. I'll be covering the Big 12, so I'll have a couple of games for that. And Shane O'Mac will be, of course, covering the ACC and the SEC. So a total of 8 plays here that what we have. So let's start off right off the bat with Shane O'Mac. Let's go with the ACC. What do you got for us, my friend, in week 2?
All right, week two. There's a big game here. Two pretty big schools in college football. We have SMU versus Baylor. Mm-hmm. SMU is pretty new to the ACC, but they were in the ACC championship game last year. They made the college football playoffs last year, lost to Penn State in the first round. SMU is good this year. They're good again.
Sure.
I think they're going to make the playoffs again. Baylor, they let me down. I picked Baylor to upset Auburn last week.
Right.
Because I told you I'm pretty low on Auburn this year in general. I think their head coach Freeze is a little bit on the hot seat because he's hasn't been doing well the last 2 years in Auburn. Mm-hmm. But Auburn pulled out the win, beat Baylor. This is not a revenge pick, but I'm taking SMU minus 2.5. Baylor gave up over 300 yards rushing to Auburn, over 300 yards rushing, and they gave over 100 yards rushing up to Auburn's quarterback. SMU's quarterback, Kevin Jennings, he can scramble a bit, and they got 2 pretty good running backs. I think they're going to take advantage of Baylor's weak defense line there, and I think SMU covers minus 2.5.
Minus 2.5, courtesy of our friends over at BetMGM. The game's at noon, and it'll obviously take place at SMU. But if you want to, Shano, would you consider even doing minus 3? A lot of books are going minus 3 at even money.
I would do minus 3. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't see them going more than 3. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I think they're going to win by a field goal. I could see maybe another point or two, but I definitely wouldn't go past -4 or -3.5. But -3, I would take. I mean, but we're just going to push there.
Yeah, it would just definitely be a push. -3 currently at bet 365, even money. You can't get the -2.5. You're playing a little bit of the juice there at -115, but you know, I like that where you are going 1 unit on that to where it, of course, if it happens to land 3 points, then of course you get your money back.
Yeah, like I said, I think the -3 should be safe. I like -2.5 better.
Sure,
but if it's even money, I mean, and that's whatever book you're using, that's all you can get. I would still take that.
Yeah, that's the kicker that always kills me when you get that half point. It's like, that stupid kicker. And that's what we mean, bettors, is, you know, that 0.5, that's that little kick, like that Elaine Bennis kick that gets you. But, you know, it happened. It definitely happened. All right, let's go to the wise man.
I think she did some thumbs, too. Didn't she do some thumbs?
Yeah, she did do the thumbs.
Yeah.
You know, with the little shake of the... with Kramer going, hey, that ain't dancing, Sally.
Yeah.
Let's go with your first pick, wise man. You, of course, are talking about the Big Ten. What is your first selection here?
So listen, I warned you guys up front. Big Sparty fan. You're free to fade me on any Sparty picks all year.
Right.
So with the pleasantries, put a stop. With you guys, I'm going on Sparty.
You broke up there. Go ahead. Say that again.
This is a rematch of last year. Yeah, Sparty -3.5. Sparty -3.5.
And this was a rematch. I'm sorry. I cut it. I interrupted you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. So this is a rematch of last year's red bandana game. Sparty was an underdog in that game, yet they led with 2 minutes to go. They ended up losing the game, but covered. So given the loss, I think they're looking for a little revenge here in the rematch. Obviously, in today's college football with the transfer portal and turnovers, you can't put much stock into what happened last year. That being said, the Spartans are returning the most important player who's going to be on the field. That's QB Aiden Childs. This is his second year at Michigan State, but it's his third year under Coach Smith because he came over with him from Oregon State. So you don't see 3 years of continuity much between a quarterback and head coach anymore in college football. Mm-hmm. So Sparty's got that going for him. He had an average performance last week against Western Michigan, 1 TD, no interceptions, did what he needed to do. The question mark was the O-line going into this season for Sparty, yet they ran for over 180 yards last week. So BC is going to have to prepare for a balanced attack. Also, don't underestimate the power of Sparty under the lights in East Lansing. We've seen magic under the lights before. Little Giants against Notre Dame, the Rocket versus Wisconsin.
Right.
So give me Sparty under the lights in East Lansing. It's going to be rowdy.
Sparty -3.5 is courtesy at Caesars at -110. You can get it at a few other of our books there. Our friends over at MGM at -110, and of course DraftKings. So that is, of course, the wise man's first pick. That is Sparty, Michigan State at -3.5. I am up, and we've got, of course, the Big 12. The Big 12 is something that I enjoy watching, and I've watched something, Chano, that I actually called that Iowa State to win the Big 12. And it looks like they're starting to go on their way if they can survive a very tough Iowa defense. So Iowa State taking on Iowa. It is, of course, they've already beaten Kansas State in Dublin, as you know. But with Iowa, it's the typical fashion of they are leaning on their defense and their strong running game. So Xavier Williams shining over 100 yards and a touchdown recently. The quarterback, of course, of Iowa being Mark Gronkowski. He struggled in his debut. So there's a lot of people that have been stating, a lot of the books, more than the Joes, are saying, hey, take the under here. I leaned a little bit toward, I'm going to put a little pizza money on the over The over is at 41 right now, and you can get that at DraftKings at -110. So I'm going to lean a little bit over on that, but this is going to be a tough game. I mean, history shows that between these two teams, that this game it can be a true toss-up. However, that being said, Iowa State, as I stated, has the momentum. And of course they've got the home field advantage, and Beck, who is their quarterback, has been playing almost lights out here. But Iowa has a pretty good defense, even though sometimes there are times where they win ugly. So my official bet here will be Iowa State -3 at -112, courtesy of our friends over at DraftKings. So I'm going to go. I'll do a little pizza on the over 41, but I'm going to go Iowa State -3 at -112. So that being said, I'm taking the Cyclones. We'll go back to you, Shano, with your next pick. Are you sticking with SEC or ACC here?
I'm going to go SEC, but I do like that Iowa State pick a lot, by the way. Just want to say that. I think Iowa State did cover.
Yeah.
Beating up on my Big Ten, I see. Beating up on my Big Ten.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I see it as a 27-20, maybe a 24-20 game. But it's going to be close. But I think they come out swinging.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Iowa State wins. But that's a good pick. So yeah, I'm going to go to the SEC.
Okay.
SEC here. I'm looking at Ole Miss versus Kentucky.
Ole Miss, Kentucky. Got it.
Ole Miss versus Kentucky. Ole Miss is number 20 now in the nation, I believe, after week 1. They moved up the thing because they dominated Georgia State. They racked up 700 yards of offense against Georgia State. That's a lot of yards. 700 yards of offense, and they beat them down 63-7. On the other end of the spectrum, Kentucky, they just squeaked by Toledo, beat them 24-17, I believe.
Right.
So, and I got some concerns about Kentucky. Kentucky, their quarterback, he went 10 for 23 in the game, 10 for 23 against Toledo. So I can't imagine what Ole Miss's defense is going to do to him. So that's my main concern about Kentucky. He went 10 for 23, only threw for 85 yards, no touchdown, and a pick. That's a pretty bad stat line there for Kentucky's QB. So I'm taking Ole Miss minus the points. It's a lot of points. It's 8.5 points, but I think they cover. I think they're going to win by 10. I think it's going to be a touchdown and a field goal spread there. I think Ole Miss wins by 10. The current spread's at Ole Miss minus 8.5. Give me Ole Miss minus the points.
Ole Miss minus the point at 8.5 at -115. It's moved a little bit there, Shano, at BetMGM. The game, of course, is at 3:30, and it's going to take place at Kentucky, as you stated. And I like, I was leaning a little bit toward. I saw that, and I saw maybe over it. The total here is 50.5.
I like the over in that game too.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. Producer Mark, of course, you know how he goes crazy on those overs.
Yeah, I like the over in that game too. I mean, I didn't watch. I mean, obviously, you can't watch every single game; it's impossible. Right. But I was watching the highlights of the Ole Miss game. Their offense it's clicking. I mean, I know it's only Georgia State, but I mean, putting up 700 yards against a college team, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, they were clicking on all cylinders. Their quarterback was at an 83% completion percentage, something like that, something ridiculous. I mean, they were firing on all cylinders. And then on Kentucky, they were struggling. And then they were struggling against Toledo. And Ole Miss is a lot better than Toledo.
Yeah. Before we get to the wise man's next pick here, we do have some NFL and some college. We have the JMU game going on, taking on Louisville. And it's a very close game there, Shano. It's JMU 7-6 as we get close to the start of the third quarter.
I told you, I like JMU plus the points, but I can't bet them in Virginia.
Yeah, we can't bet them in Virginia. That's where producer Mark needs to go over to across the bridge there and place a bet. But anyway, 10-0 currently in the second quarter. Started the second quarter here for the Chargers, up 10-0. So we'll keep an eye out for that one. All right, my friend, the wise man, your second pick in the Big Ten is what?
Listen, there's a lot of big numbers up and down the Big Ten this week, 30, 40 point spreads.
Sure.
So I can't touch any of those. So I'm going to go with Rutgers minus 13.5 in Piscataway against Miami of Ohio. This number opened, I think, at minus 15.5.
Yep.
It went down through 14 to 13.5. So there's been some movement through some key numbers. Last week, Rutgers opened up against another Ohio team, the Bobcats. Balanced attack on offense, 250 yards through the air, 150 on the ground. They didn't cover, which is why I think this line opened at 15 and then went down through 14. So I think it gives us some value there. Listen, offense isn't going to be the issue for the Scarlet Knights this year. The questions are going to come on defense. But when you look at Miami of Ohio last week versus the juggernaut that is Wisconsin, they didn't score last week versus Wisconsin. They only had 117 yards total offense against Wisconsin. So
right.
The stars, I think, are aligning for the Scarlet Knights to have a little bounce back. Give me Schiano. Give me the Scarlet Knights. Give me more Piscataway. There could be some weather in this game, but I think, Rutgers can rely on their ground game if that's the case. So minus 13.5, Scarlet Knights.
Scarlet Knights, the 3:30 game, taken, of course, they're playing at home, so they have that home field advantage, or somewhat of that home field advantage there. Minus 13.5 at minus 129 at Bet Rivers. I have seen, and I agree with you, it did open up at that 15 you're saying there, Wise Man. They the only time that we have it here is in FanDuel at minus 14.5. So, if you're wanting to do that, sure. But I'm with you on the 13.5. I'm going to put a 1 unit on that game, of course. That is, of course, Rutgers is hosting, Miami, Ohio. So let's go back to you there, Shano, before I get to my last Big 12 pick. So we'll do, you did an SEC pick, so you're doing ACC on this one?
ACC, back to the ACC.
There we go.
This sounds like a crazy pick based after week one.
Right.
But I'm going the Tar Heels over Charlotte.
All right, I'm leaving.
They look Tar Heels look bad against TCU. Yeah. Okay, but TCU is a pretty good squad. All right, TCU is a pretty good squad.
Right.
Charlotte, however, is not. So it's a 13.5 point spread, which is a little scary, but right. I like it a lot. I think UNC is going to cover. I think they can win by 2 touchdowns. UNC, as you know, they lost 48-14 to TCU, but Charlotte's definitely a step down in competition. I think it's going to be a much easier game for them. Historically, Bill Belichick coaches up his teams really well after a loss. Charlotte lost week 1 to Appalachian State, 34-11. Nothing against Appalachian State. They're a decent school football program, but they're nowhere near as like your big top level D1 programs. UNC, they had a quarterback starting. Started off the game and he wobbled. They benched him and they brought in another guy. They brought in why is his name blanking on me right now?
I know who you're referring to.
Johnson. I was looking up. Max Johnson. So Gio Lopez started. He sputtered. They got benched. They brought in Johnson. Johnson went 9 for 11 after going in and 103 yards and a touchdown. So he moved the ball a lot better, a lot more efficient. Who knows that was just because TCU was already up by so much, and that's why. But I think that Charlotte is a much easier matchup for them, and I think they cover that. That's a big point spread, I know, but I think UNC covers it. I'm putting a unit on UNC minus 13.5.
UNC minus 13.5. It's the 7 o'clock game. They travel to Charlotte at minus 110 on Caesars Palace. But that brings up another point or another question here, Shano, and I'll bring the wise man into this as well. Is there an over or under how long the girlfriend stays off the field? Because that looked like a little concern last week.
I heard there was some drama on the channel last week about this.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, she's going to have to go, dude.
You can't have your girl on the sideline. You can't have her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a job to do, Bill. You're a professional. You should know that.
I'm more curious about, now that Belichick's coaching down south, when does he break out the hoodie? And when does he start cutting off the sleeves of hoodies? I mean, it's, warm weather in North Carolina.
Sure.
When does the hoodie come out? I don't think he gets a win until that hoodie does come out in North Carolina, which could be, late fall, early winter. Just a lot of question marks with our boy Belichick.
So I was telling Joe the fan this at UNC's team, like their college campus stores.
Yeah.
They're selling cut-off hoodies. They're selling
Really?
UNC cut-off hoodies. Yeah.
Sound like hotcakes.
Can we get some Just Win Bets hoodies?
Of course.
Yeah,
We'll
nice.
get executive producer Mark on that right away. I know you have a hat, but we need a fleece. We need a fleece.
Or
You know?
the quarter zip, maybe.
Exactly, the quarter zip. That's what we need.
Yeah.
We need to win some games here. But the thing, the real question is, speaking of the hoodie, does he get a cut? Does Belichick get like 10% for each
I'm
sale?
sure. I'm sure he does.
He's got to.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
But supposedly his new girl his girlfriend has been heavily involved in a lot of marketing stuff, like making T-shirt designs for him. Like, they call him Chapel Bill now instead of Chapel Hill. All that stuff. So she made like a Chapel Bill shirt that's selling like crazy apparently down there. So I'm sure he gets a cut of all that. He's got to.
He's got to.
He's got to.
Be. But then we have to do an over under, and we'll have the guys Ola Comics to do the graphic for us. The over under, how long this relationship's going to last? Because if he goes like 0-4, it's going to be, hey, look, she's going to have to go. I'm sorry, it's business.
Oh yeah, she's not going to leave him. I mean, he can go 0-4, but he's still got millions in the bank. She ain't leaving that.
No, not at all. Not at all. All right, back to business here. Of course, let's talk about my last pick, where I talked about earlier the Iowa and Iowa State game. Which is, again, that's going to be a great game. So I'll pick another Big 12 game, which will be Missouri taking on Kansas. Now, this is something where the Vegas odds makers have Missouri by 6.5 points. You can probably get that at 7. Shop around bettors where you are, whatever your best book that you use, and then try to get the best number. But there's a lot of factors to go into this game. Is a hell of a lot closer than what I've calculated in my model. So this could actually lead to an upset of Kansas beating Missouri, but I don't have that. Kansas offense, of course, is led by Jalen Daniels, not Jaden, not the Washington quarterback, but he's been very incredibly efficient and productive, and the Jayhawks are able to run the ball, and they've shown that. And the protection for Daniels to actually get the ball out. This will be a key thing against Missouri's defense, who are pretty much on its heels. So they've been struggling big time. Missouri's home and field advantage, will be a huge factor here, right? But again, their defense has been formidable. But with it, they've got some key players that are injured on that side of the ball. So my final pick, and I'm going to go full unit on this, over 50.5. Take the total score here, 50.5 at -110 at Bet Rivers. I could see a Missouri going maybe 27-24. So it's barely going to squeak over, maybe a 30-24 win there, but it's going to be, you could take Missouri to cover, but I don't see that happening. I see the 50.5. If you can get down to 49, get on that quick. But 50.5, that's going to be my final pick in the Big 12. Missouri, Kansas, over 50.5. So
that's a solid pick there too. I was looking at that game earlier when I was doing some research from other games, and I was like, "Oh, that's juicy. I like that."
That's a little juicy.
I like the over.
Yeah. But producer Mark doesn't believe it's that juicy enough. Isn't Ruth Chris juicy enough? He put Papa John's money on that stuff. You know how he is. So Shayna, your final pick here, and this will be the 8th pick. Yes.
I'm
I'm
trying to find the current odds. I was looking at Arizona State and Mississippi State. I'm trying to look it up on Odds Trader right now because it was changing. Here it is.
Arizona State, of course, who's done pretty well while you're looking that up, who's done pretty well, excuse me, in the SEC, blanked out there. I've got it right here. And they're ranked number 12, and they're favored. You know, they're one of the favorites to win their conference. So it'll be, of course, Arizona State traveling to Mississippi State, who is god-awful.
Yeah, Mississippi State is bad. They're bad, really bad.
They might be Sparty awful. Whoa, that's
Whoa.
Mike still on? Sorry.
I'm out.
They're bad, but are they really that bad? But yeah, they're bad. So they're in the SEC, obviously, right? So
right.
Even bad teams in the SEC are still better than the average teams in other conferences sometimes, right? So, but with that being said, I still think Arizona State wins by a touchdown. And I think the current spread's at -6.5. That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, -6.5 over at Caesar's Palace at -110. You know, you can get it pretty much majority of the books that we cover here is offering -6.5 at -110. It looks like all of them. Bet365, BetRiver, DraftKings, FanDuel. So, I mean, there's always that time, Shano, where bettors could wait, but that's the risk. It could go down to 6, and then, hey, you're good. But, you know, what do you recommend there?
Yeah, my current projections, I'm looking at a score of like 31-23, 32-24, something like that.
Right.
Arizona State. So I think Arizona State just tops us over 30, and Mississippi State's going to be in the low 20s. That's my guess. So I mean, Mississippi State Bulldogs. They're bad. They're bad. And I can't see ASU losing to them. And I think they're easy to cover by a touchdown. ASU's a pretty good.
If it goes 7.5, do you like it? 7.5, you still like it? What
7.5, I would stay away from. 7, I would take, but 7.5, I would stay away from. If it goes any further than that.
All right, let me look here. There could be an alternate. I'm going to go on DraftKings, and let's see here. You know, that alternate bets there. But, I mean, again, that's that thing, Shano, where it goes -7. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They have that at +102. Ooh.
-7?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. Same thing though. You're just risking a put. Just risking a put. But all the math I'm doing, I see Arizona State winning by probably 7 or 8 points. But yeah. So I mean, you can take it at 7. You're risking the push, but at least push to get your money back. Not like you're losing anything. But yeah, I would do 7. I would stay away from 7.5 or 8 if it goes anywhere near that. I would stay away.
Yeah. So bettors, you would definitely want to get in there early when it comes to the bet. If you see a good number, take it, obviously, but that's our advice, but you guys can do whatever. So yeah. So let's recap real quick. I know we went into details, so I'll go first, for those who just kind of join us right now or want to, watch it real quick. So I'm going to go with my 2 Big 12 picks. I went with the first game, Iowa State, hosting Iowa. And I've got this as Iowa State -3 at -115 at Bet Rivers. And then my final pick was the Missouri-Kansas game. I've got the over 50.5 at -110. So, Wise Man, what do you think? What were your 2 bets as a recap there?
Yeah, recapping, I got -13.5. The old Rutgers football in Piscataway, -13.5. And then your beloved Sparties, -3.5. Here's a little nugget on Sparty that I didn't mention in my initial take.
Sure.
Munn Field is a big field right across the street from Spartan Stadium. 30 years ago, they shut the field down for tailgating. Various infractions, a little too much heavy drinking.
Sure.
Shut it down 30 years ago. New athletic director comes in. Munn Field will be open Saturday all day.
Oh,
For the first time since the Clinton administration, you'll be able to have a beer on Munn Field. So your Sparty faithful, yeah, they're going to be drinking all day for the night game. It's going to be electric. Munfield. Be there if you can get there.
Okay, wait a second. First off, how did it close? Were you part of this? Did you in any way help close this facility down?
No, predates me. I showed up in East Lansing in 97 and 98. They shut it down in 94, 95. So had nothing to do with it, but they shut it down. A little too much partying. Listen, Sparty's known to get a little wild. So, but yeah, 30 years, they're opening it back up. People are going to be tailgating out there all day. So watch out. Rowdy crowd under the lights.
Now, when you say rowdy crowds in Sparty, and you, of course, have more experience than me going to these tailgating, my friend, do they do like Buffalo Bills Mafia where they jump through tables? Is it like WWE style? What do they do there?
There's a little bit of that later on in the season, but we got the shot ski, we got the snowball. We bring out all the stops. Drinko, which is a take on the old Plinko game in Price is Right fame. So you got the Drinko going on. So and it's going to be going on all day on Saturday. So yeah.
So a lot of green in the stands and a lot of green puke everywhere else from the drinking.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Shano, did you have that?
I mean, that's a good bit of information there, though, because that crowd's going to be crazy then. Crazy.
Yeah. 30 years it's been.
Executive producer Mark is going 2 units on this Sparty thing. Wow. Okay. Based on that information that we've just been told. Did you have, of course, anything over in Shenandoah there? That's where you attended, right, Shano?
For football games, no, because I was playing, so I didn't.
Right.
I was there, so I never got a part of the tailgate for football. So I don't know how those were. I know it was pretty crazy out there, but nowhere near as big as like a big school like that. No. But we used to tailgate for volleyball games.
Whoa.
The football team.
Whoa. I'm just saying. What do you have? That Path Blue?
Yeah.
Is that what you were drinking back then? Miller Lite?
No, back then it was like Milwaukee's best. Milwaukee's Beast Ice. It was like $10 for a 30-pack, $9 for a 30-pack, something like that.
You guys were probably too young for the Zima with the Jolly Rancher.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Did you ever have those?
Little sour apple Jolly Rancher in there?
Yes.
Yeah.
They brought Zima back a couple years ago for like short period, and then it went away again. But yeah, I remember Zima.
So those are our recap there. Shana, what's your 4 recap games of your games there?
All right, I'll do ACC first. ACC SMU -2.5 over Baylor. Give me SMU -2.5 over Baylor.
Yep.
My other ACC pick is, I know it sounds crazy after the big loss to TCU, but UNC -13.5 over Charlotte. A little tidbit I forgot to say. Charlotte, I said they lost to Appalachian State. They also gave up 600 yards to Appalachian State. That's another reason why I'm picking UNC minus the big points there, because that Charlotte looked bad. They gave up 600 yards to Appalachian State. So UNC -13.5, basically 2 touchdown spread. I think they can win by that. I have also a little pizza money on for a different bet. I'm putting a little upset alert. I think Duke might have a possibility of beating Illinois. Illinois is ranked like 11th in the country. Yeah. I think there's a slight chance they can beat them. Duke's really good at home. They were 5-1 at home last year. They were like, I think 5-1 or 4-2 at home 2 years ago.
Right.
They're really good at home. Illinois is traveling to Duke. Just a little upset alert. I think it might happen. I wouldn't throw big money on it, but if you want to sprinkle a couple bucks on it, I think it might be worth it. So that's my 2 ACC picks.
Mm-hmm.
SEC, I'm taking Ole Miss -8.5 over Kentucky. And my other one was Arizona State over Mississippi Bulldogs. Mississippi State Bulldogs. Arizona State minus the points, 6.5.
Arizona State -6.5. Now, before we go, I will say this, Shano, do you cash out early if you see the girlfriend on UNC on the sideline? Get on the books, cash out.
It might have to, for real. They'll be in Charlotte though, so maybe she's not traveling with the team or something, or maybe they have Charlotte has rules where she can't be on the sideline. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's got to stop, dude. That's got to stop.
Yeah. She's got to stay away. She's got to stay away.
Wise man, do you think that his son, the defensive coordinator for UNC, that he needs a new mullet, new hairdo?
I don't think he needs a new one. I like it. I like it just the way it is.
Jeez. Wow.
I think we should all grow mullets. Start them right now.
We should all grow mullets. And support Chapel Bill.
Yeah.
I've had a mullet in the past, so I'll be willing to do it again. My wife won't like it, but I'll do it again.
My wife would not like that either. My wife would definitely not like that. All right. Well, that concludes, of course, our college football week 2 picks. We'll be here every Friday night with our best bets from the wise man, from Shane O'Mac and myself. We'll be covering the 4 conferences, the ACC, SEC, Big 10, and Big 12. Guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up. It really helps the channel. We're close to 550 subscribers in about 5 months. So, it's a little doing the math here, which I know producer Mark is a little upset about me not doing the math right. I'm like, what? That's a little over 100 per month. Okay. So 110 if you want to be exact. So close to 110 subscribers a month. That's really great. And it looks like a lot of views are coming out. We've got more shorts to put out there. We'll be back with our NFL picks. Check us out on our social media page. You can see it right there on top. It is, of course, Instagram, TikTok, on X at Just Win Bets Baby, and of course here on YouTube. Have a good night, and we'll see you later.